Hi there, my name is Tawny Garner, and this is my artifact analysis for MAE 670. So I've been a teacher now for 2 years. I taught fourth grade last year, and I'm currently a second grade teacher. So let's go ahead and get started. Like I said before, this is my artifact analysis for MAE 670. To begin, here is my plan of study and the program learning outcomes, alignments, and artifacts for each of the 10 courses that I took. Throughout my presentation, I will describe each course I took, which PLO it aligns to, and which artifact best represents my competency in that area. So this first slide is a general overview of the last 10 months of the program that I was in. And then throughout, I will take a deeper dive into each of these. So across the top is your POS or your plan of study, which are essentially the 10 courses that I took. And along the left-hand side are our program learning outcomes or PLOs for each of the classes. Additionally, I also listed which artifact I'll be talking about. All right, so next we have the MAE program learning outcomes, which will be referred to throughout this presentation as PLOs. The first PLO is integrating advanced approaches to instruction, assessment, and learning using digital tools and skills. PLO 2 is designing learning experiences that include learner characteristics, principles of customized learning, and assessment as learning. Next, we have PLO 3, which is applying practitioner research methods to study and inform instruction in traditional and digital learning environments. And then finally, we have PLO number 4, which is developing reflective practices that are grounded in current learning science research, professional ethics, and includes pathways to continuous growth. Each course that I'm going to be talking about in the presentation will be aligned with at least one of these PLOs, and it will also include a supporting artifact as evidence. So the first course I took, like many of you, was MAE 610, which is the Plan of Study and Practice Research. It was the required first course in the MAE program. Course participants were presented with essential experiences and exercises to A, select an MAE emphasis course that aligns with MAE program learning outcomes, and B, evaluate practitioner research paradigms and effective research designs used in education by practitioner researchers. So this course helped prepare me for my area of study. It set the tone and the expectations toward the completion of my degree. Throughout the course, I became accustomed to the new learning platform. I decided on a particular area of interest, which ended up being social emotional learning, and found classes that aligned with that interest. I created a digital portfolio on Portfolium that highlighted my competencies in each PLO. This particular course aligned with PLO 3, which was applying practitioner research methods to study and inform instruction in traditional and digital learning environments. The course helped me to apply research methods to study and inform my instruction of SEL. The artifact I chose for this was the practitioner research study. It examined the relationship between SEL instruction and the overall well-being and academic achievement of young children. The next course I took was ITI 670, which was Introduction to SEL. This course analyzes the components of social emotional learning and compared theoretical orientations regarding the development of SEL in school-age children. It assesses our own levels of social emotional functioning to improve our ability to provide comprehensive and effective services to our students, and evaluated evidence base for social emotional learning interventions within an MTSS framework. The artifact I chose was my PowerPoint called What is SEL? The PowerPoint highlighted the 5 core competencies of SEL, why SEL matters, and why it's important to address SEL in schools. It talked about how SEL improves academic success and improves social emotional learning capacity and increases positive behavioral outcomes. The course aligns with PLO2 and has helped me become familiar with components of SEL instruction. It customized student learning in a way that targets student-specific needs, and it helped me develop and integrate a system of supports that can benefit students' academic, behavioral, and social emotional well-being. The next course I took was ITI 672, which was SEL in Action. It contained an inquiry project focused on the support of current research on social emotional learning, strategies, interventions, and practices for various age and grade levels. And there was collaboration strategies and partnerships within the school system, support staff, and community that were analyzed as part of the inquiry process. So the artifact I chose was my SEL toolbox that I created. It was the PowerPoint that highlighted resources, strategies, interventions, activities, and research that supported the positive implementation of SEL in the classroom. This course aligns with PLO3 because it helped me develop approaches to SEL instruction using both digital and non-digital tools. It also allowed me to apply methods and strategies to inform my instruction. In the slide, you can see 4 examples from the toolbox, which include modeling behavior, role playing, positive affirmations, and a growth versus fixed mindset. The next course I took was ITI 674, which was Research in SEL. This course explores research designs that measure social emotional learning at the individual and the school level. It finalizes a research proposal to investigate a current issue or problem related to social emotional learning and evaluates strategies to apply social emotional learning research in everyday classroom teaching and practice. The artifact that you see pictured here is my essay titled, Are Teachers Using Action Research? This essay explores what action research is and to what extent the participants in this particular study continue to implement and utilize action research after they graduated from their program. Action research models a commitment to lifelong learning and continuous improvement. It ensures educators engage in professional self-study, question assumptions, and take professional risks. It also explores aspirations for future leadership roles in education. It aligns with PLO 3 and 4 because it allowed me to base my practices on relevant learning science research by conducting numerous article analyses. It improved my instruction and gave me opportunities to investigate research related to SEL and to continue to grow in both knowledge and instruction. Finally, I applied research methods to inform my instruction and my practice. The next course I took was ITL 604, which was Learners and Learning Number 1. This course examines psychological, sociocultural, linguistic, and other factors influencing development learning in the full range of learners, including English learners, standard English learners, students with exceptionalities, and students with other needs. It also considers a variety of data to identify appropriate strategies and community-based resources to support learners and their families. The artifact that you see here is the Asset Identification Assignment. This artifact considers the ways in which the school community is described by data-driven systems. It identifies assets that can be used to benefit specific students. It also includes class, school, and district profiles with things such as demographics, performance data, celebrations and traditions, curriculum, language and services, special education services, professional development, and mission and vision statements. This course is aligned with PLO 3 and 4 because it helped me to understand the exceptional backgrounds that my students come from and how I can use that knowledge to adjust curriculum and teaching to meet their needs. I was able to develop reflective practices and was provided opportunities for continuous growth. Finally, it provided pathways to positively affect student learning and development and incorporate community-based resources to support students and their families. The next course I took was ITL 606, which was Learners and Learning number 2. This examined theories and research regarding typical and atypical child and adolescent development and learning. It considers various data collection and assessment techniques, guiding the selection of effective strategies, practices, resources, and technologies needed to create environments supporting the full range of learners and provide equitable access to the curriculum. The artifact I chose was the Learning Theories PowerPoint. This assignment examines 7 different learning theories for both typical and atypical children. The PowerPoint also studied how to provide an equitable and inclusive learning environment for all students. This course aligns with PLO 4 because it considers different learning styles and techniques that are grounded in current research. It also allowed me to apply knowledge of best practices and use them as stepping stones for professional development. Many students in our classroom today come from unique backgrounds and oftentimes are not given equitable and inclusive learning environments. Through no fault of their own, teachers are often ill-equipped to support these students, and failure to address the needs of all students will result in disruptive and disengaged learners. ITL 606 helped me grow as an educator and helped me develop reflective practices to support the wide range of learners in my classroom. As you can see from here, I just pulled some learning theories from the slide deck that I created, some of which include differentiated instruction, UDL, and the theory of transformational learning. The 7th class I took was ITL 608, which was Design and Process of Teaching. In this class, candidates integrate principles of learning theories and factors influencing human development when designing instruction and evaluating instructional effectiveness. Candidates will utilize a 4-stage cyclical model of planning, teaching, analyzing, and reflecting in the process of learning and teaching to ensure all students equitable access to the curriculum. The artifact I chose to demonstrate my competency was the Learning Map Stages 1 and 2. This assignment was essentially a giant lesson plan that incorporated all the normal things of a lesson plan, such as the planning of instruction, identifying standards, learning objectives, student outcomes, assessments, and adaptations and modifications for students with special needs and English language learners. This course aligns with PLO 2 because it utilized the cyclical model of planning, teaching, analyzing, and reflecting. It also allowed me to customize learning, instruction, and assessment to make lessons more relevant and meaningful for my kids. Finally, creating this elaborate lesson plan gave me the opportunity to foster inclusivity and make lessons more effective and engaging. The 8th class I took was ECE 654, which was Collaborative Partnerships. This course examines interpersonal communication skills required for early childhood teachers and leaders. It examines strategies for enhancing parent-professional partnerships, consultation skills, and issues relating to the interactive teaching and the larger community. The artifact that best represents my competency in this area is the personal leadership vision statement, as you can see on the slide deck. This assignment included goals I would like to accomplish as an early childhood leader. I also work to maintain developmentally appropriate practices, or DAP, for all students. This gave me the opportunity to work on goal setting and measure ways in which I was effective or not effective. The assignment also allowed me to reflect on how and why being a strong leader is important for continuous growth and development. The course aligns with PLO 2 and 4 because it helped me develop interpersonal communication skills required to create effective relationships. It also helped me integrate learning experiences with the child and the larger community. It provided me opportunities for growth by seeking the best way to build and maintain parent-professional partnerships. And lastly, it helped me prepare and develop personal and professional goals that will make me a strong EC leader. The ninth course was ECE 655, which is Inclusive Early Childhood Education Practices. This course emphasizes on variations of child development, identification of disabilities, and the implications of cultural and linguistic diversity. It examines inclusive early childhood programs, strategies for adaptations and accommodations to meet the social, emotional, and academic needs of all children who are at risk or have special needs. The idea of this course focused on inclusion and diversity. We need to consider our students' abilities and backgrounds when we are creating learning experiences that build on their previous knowledge. The course better prepared me to identify disabilities and then make adaptations, and accommodations to fit their needs. Our students' cultural and linguistic backgrounds bring something unique into our classrooms, and educators need to embrace these diversities and consider how they might impact each student. By setting the example in our classroom, we can encourage students to be more inclusive classmates and members of our community. Each child comes to school with strengths and weaknesses, and this course offers teachers a learning experience that can develop best practices, grow personally and professionally, and truly customize the learning and the environment for each student. The artifact that I chose was the disability paper for EC leadership. This paper identified distinguishing characteristics of a disability or disorder of my choosing, and I chose to explore anxiety disorders in children. I researched the incidence and prevalence of anxiety disorders, as well as examined the diagnosis criteria and the causes of the disorder. I analyzed the implications for interventions and inclusions and sought to identify strategies that teachers can use to support each student. This aligns with PLO 2 and 4 because it expanded my mindset of inclusion and diversity in my teaching practices. It prepared me to identify and make accommodations and adaptations and embrace challenges and difficulties. Last, I was able to develop best practices, grow personally and professionally, and customize student learning and their environment. Which brings us to our 10th and final course, which is the one we're in now, MAE 670, Applied Practitioner Research and Customized Study. This course presents course participants with experiences and exercises to A, develop a practitioner research proposal based on a relational practitioner research question, and B, produce a reflective presentation, such as this one, that evaluates a plan of studies, digital portfolio artifact alignment to MAE program learning outcomes. Throughout this course, I've developed a practitioner research question and proposal. I've provided evidence that support my research question using strategies, resources, supports, and data from various course assignments and peer-reviewed articles. The artifact I chose was the practitioner research proposal. Here, I proposed a relational practitioner research question that aligned with my area of interest, which was social emotional learning. I used aggregate data and a summary table, such as the one you see on the slide, to review 5 research studies. I also included a justification for further research on the topic and concluded it with a methods section on how my new study would be carried out. This aligns with PLO 3 and 4 because I developed a practitioner research question and proposal using current science research. I also finalized my digital portfolio that contains artifacts that align to the MAE program learning outcomes and highlight my competency in each PLO. I used my initial interest in social emotional learning to dive deeper into the research topic. And here we are at the end. This program was such a rewarding experience. It gave me the opportunity to integrate different approaches to instruction, assessment, and learning using both digital tools and skills. This was very important now, especially when the majority of our instruction is being done online. I was also able to customize my students' learning using relevant, engaging, and inclusive practices. I reflected on my teaching and learning in order to continue to grow as a professional in the education fields. I'm really thankful that I was able to combine my passion for teaching with my goal of continuing to be a lifelong learner. I'm eager to instill both of these in my current and future students. So thanks for watching.